it's good to see you. Let's inspect the classic Poisonous Concoction. The Poisonous Concoction is a special type of ranged attack. To use this skill, you will have to wear no main hand weapon, but in return, you will gain decent amounts of flat chaos damage from the gem levels, just like most skills do. It will also drain your life flask charges to deal significantly more damage. Each hit of this attack doesn't deal that much damage, but it has very potent shotgunning potential, which leads to massive amounts of DPS if you increase your projectile count, which will be our priority. As the skill's name suggests, it's efficient to scale it via poison due to its base chaos damage and built-in 40% poison chance. When looking at the skill's base attributes, you notice flask charges and chaos damage, which are both what Pathfinder excels in, making it the truly best character class for this build. It also grants you poison proliferation, which is a very powerful tool to improve your clear speed even more. With Nature's Reprisal, your Wither debuff will increase the chaos damage taken by your enemies by up to 135% instead of the default 90%, and makes inflicting it much easier. Master Toxicist is also a strict damage boost for the poison archetype. Nature's Boon increases the effect of flasks by 30%. This guide is not about Poisonous Concoction of bouncing, but since the transfigured version is similar, you may swap to it. We have a separate guide for that specific skill as well if you're interested. As of the latest patch, the power difference between these two skills has mellowed. You will easily reach enough flask generation to cap your elemental resistances using ruby, sapphire, and topaz flasks, which will also increase your maximum resistances by 5. Then invest in suppression and block chance. For recovery, you have the ever-reliable life flask, flesh and stones here too. Clear speed is great with the proliferation. It's basically restricted only by movement speed. Boss damage plateaus after you reach the end of the red maps. It's dirt cheap, one of the best starter builds out there. Runs on chaos fumes from Act 1 to Pinnacles. You don't need any particular unique item to make this build work, although there are several items you could make great use of. Once you get your elemental flasks permanent, you'll be able to wear more of them due to the resistances already fixed. Betrayal's Sting is one of such items that may be particularly good in those cases. Carcass Jack is a very solid and inexpensive armor for this build. It grants extra life, resistance, and a lot of bonuses to area of effect, allowing you to overlap your explosions more reliably. Dendrobate is the best armor to improve your damage, but only if you manage to fulfill its somewhat restrictive requirements. It also provides a bit of elemental resistance. You should get a Corrupted Implicit, with bonuses to gem levels, and use Tainted Fusings to link it. Lightning Coil, the best defensive armor for a lot of builds. It grants you a lot of physical damage mitigation by shifting it to elemental damage, which you can reduce via lightning resistance, but you will need more of that modifier on your other gear pieces to overcome the penalty. The Tides of Time, an extremely powerful belt. It greatly increases your flask sustain and makes them considerably more effective. It also boosts the effect of flasks. Replica Dragonfang's Fly Amulet can boost levels of any Poisonous Concoction for us skill by 3. It also provides a decent amount of attributes, resistances, and reservation efficiency of skills. Circle of Nostalgia grants additional bonuses when you are affected by the Herald of Agony. Look for an increased chaos damage bonus and Herald's buff effect on this ring, which you can further boost with chaos catalysts. Betrayal's Sting is the best option damage-wise. Look for high rolls on the chance to inflict additional poison. Careful, it lowers elemental resistances. Asenath's Gentle Touch automates one of your curses and adds a potent source of explosions that will obliterate packs of enemies. However, it doesn't provide anything valuable for single target encounters, and you will lose a lot of spell suppression chance. Still, excellent if you corrupt it to inflict despair on hit 2. Snakebite are great for single targets and are just overall very good, but only if you can generate frenzy charges. Try Blood Rage, Poacher's Mark, or find a way to get them on a passive skill tree. Look for corrupted implicits like Max Frenzy Charge or Curse on Hit. With the Ancestral Vision Jewel, you can easily achieve elemental ailment immunity if you get the proper modifier on your boots and cap your spell suppression chance. You want Watcher's Eye with Malevolence modifiers, preferably damage over time multiplier. Almost any Grace mod will be good. Precision has some attack speed and a bit of damage. To scale your damage, you will have to rely on your rings, amulet, and jewels. You should seek modifiers for chaos, poison, attack speed, accuracy, or damage over time multiplier. Additional gem levels are also very important. To improve your defenses, you will need bonuses to your maximum life, spell suppression, and resistances. Rare Helmet is the best possible option for this build. Try to obtain mana reservation efficiency and look for bonuses to maximum life, spell suppression, accuracy, or resistances and attributes. On a shield, you can get a lot of maximum life and spell suppression chance. Seek attack speed and resistance after that. You can also use a shield with a special modifier that lowers the mana reservation of socketed auras. Boots. Here you can get a lot of movement speed, which is vital for your clear speed. It should also provide you with the usual maximum life, suppression, and resistance modifiers. For a belt, we recommend a Stygian Vice for an extra abyssal socket and high defensive stats. It is important to have at least one modifier for your flask charges. You can get a lot of strength here too. On the amulet, you will need bonuses to your Chaos DOT multiplier and Chaos gem levels. Other than that, try to get maximum life, resistances, or an empty prefix to add mana cost reduction via the crafting bench. Rings. Aim to fix all your resistances and attributes needs here, as well as gain extra life. You can get bonuses to Chaos damage via Essence of Envy, ideally on a Fractured Amethyst or Iolite rings. Use a pair of rare gloves to greatly improve your maximum life, spell suppression chance, attack speed, and resistances. The Eldritch Implicits will improve your DOT multiplier and make Wither last longer. You are most likely going to use a Stygian Vice, so you will be able to use an extra Abyss Jewel. It's best to look for one with bonus life and missing attributes or resistances. You can also try to get one that prevents the Corrupted Blood debuff on you. On regular jewels, you want extra life and chaos, DOT multiplier, poison damage, or poison duration bonuses. You can also get some resistances and attributes here as well. Use one large cluster jewel with 3 chaos damage notables to significantly improve your damage. The choice here is rather limited. You can also include the unspeakable gifts to get chaos explosions. 2 medium cluster jewels. They offer extremely strong notables for this build. The Circling Oblivion provides the most damage, as it also improves the duration of your poisons, while the Brood for potency improves your flask, sustain on top of the minor damage increase. No unique flasks for us. Get the Life Flask, of course, with modifiers that will retain its charges. A Quicksilver Flask with increased movement speed mod. Then we have included Sapphire, Ruby, and Topaz flasks for resistances and maximum resistances, but be careful. If you can't have them up at all times, switch to Jade, Silver, and Quartz flasks instead. These shall increase your evasion, reduce the effect of curses, and regenerate life. Poisonous Concoction is the primary attack in this build. In this setup, it will throw multiple projectiles and will have its damage further amplified by life flasks with nearly endless charges. You can also use the transfigured Poisonous Concoction of bouncing without any major changes to the build. Link it with Deadly Ailments, Unbound Ailments, Void Manipulation, Vicious Projectiles, and Greater Volley. Steelskin is the best guard spell for this build. It creates a protective shield that absorbs some of the incoming damage. Withering Step grants you the elusive buff for a duration and applies withered stacks to enemies in the radius. We can link these two with automation since they can be automated. That's 2 buttons less to press, and with Enhance, since all gems linked with it can benefit from increased quality. Malevolence is the best DPS aura for DOT builds, which greatly increases your damage output and opens up various options on Watcher's Eye Jewel. Grace increases your evasion rating significantly, which is one of your core defensive mechanics. Herald of Agony increases your chance to poison enemies and the damage you deal to them. These 3 skills reserve quite a lot of mana, so linking them with Enlighten is recommended. They'll reserve less of it. Tempest Shield grants extra spell block chance and shock immunity. With Flesh and Stone, stay in Sand Stance to receive less overall damage. Precision is a useful aura that grants you accuracy rating. It reserves a flat amount of mana depending on its gem level. You may not need it at all. Enlightened support is less important here, but you will probably struggle with reservation if you want to have all of these mana reserving skills on. Temporal Chains is a defensive curse that slows enemies and makes other effects last longer, which will make your poison deal damage for a longer duration. Despair is a curse that lowers the chaos resistance of affected enemies, increasing the poison damage they take as a result. There are ways to cast Hex curses on hit if you don't want to cast them. Shield Charge is a very fast charge towards the targeted location. It can be used without a cooldown but can't travel across terrain gaps. We recommend killing all the bandits for 1 additional passive point. Elira's resistances should not be needed but may. Kraten's movement speed is arguably as good as a point. Brine King is the best major since it prevents stuns and freezes, which often kill such fragile characters. For a minor god, go for Soul of Rislatha. Life Flasks gain 3 charges every 3 seconds if you haven't used a Life Flask recently. On the skill tree we obviously want Flask nodes that will help us retain Flask charges, especially Life Flask charges. Pick the applicable masteries there as well, like 1 charge every second. It's an attack build, so accuracy is required. You can leech life and mana via the leech node, and 5% instant leech mastery. For more damage, look for poison passives. Fatal Toxins and Swift Venom with masteries for increased damage against non-poisoned enemies, and the inability to receive critical damage will be enough. Chaos damage over time will affect your damage. Attack speed and additional projectile from the multi-shot cluster are very important. Suppression and evasion are crucial defensive layers. Combine them with maximum life. You should be able to reach 100% suppression chance. Then go for reservation efficiency with mana mastery, charisma, and maybe even leader of the pack or influence clusters. We believe that should cover all the intricacies, but if in doubt, ask us a question. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Bye.